The Discovery. Commander Zora Tivek stared through the viewport of the Galactic Coalition's survey vessel, Horizon, at the massive object that had appeared on their scanners. The readings made no sense. Nothing in known space should be that large, that ancient, and still intact. "What do you make of it, Krill?" she asked her Nevaran science officer, whose multiple eyes were rapidly processing the data coming in. "Unknown configuration, Commander," replied Krill, his feathered crest twitching with excitement. "The energy signature is dormant, but substantial. I've never seen anything like it." The Galactic Coalition, a union of 17 sentient species spread across 8 star systems, had been expanding their territory carefully over the past 3 centuries. Humans were relatively new members, having only achieved faster-than-light travel 80 years ago. They were seen as the younger siblings of the galaxy, talented but inexperienced. "It appears to be a vessel," said Lieutenant Darrow, the Cthesian tactical officer, whose silicon-based body glinted under the bridge lights. "Military in nature, if I had to guess. Those look like weapon ports." Zora nodded slowly. A military vessel of this size could only have come from one of the elder races, those who had explored the stars thousands of years before the Coalition formed. But the elder races had vanished, leaving only ruins and mysteries behind. "Take us closer," she ordered, "and inform Coalition Command we found something significant." As the horizon approached, more details became visible. The ship was colossal, easily 20 kilometers long, with a design that favored function over aesthetics. Its hull was dark gray, pockmarked with impact craters and scars of ancient battles. "Commander," Krill called out, his voice unusually strained, "I've identified markings on the hull. They're in human script." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Zara turned to Marcus Chen, the ship's human communications specialist. "Marcus." The young man leaned forward, squinting at the enhanced imagery. His face paled as he read the faded lettering. "It says, UNC in VICTUS," he translated. "And below that, Terran Federation Supercarrier, 8th Fleet." "That's impossible," Darrow stated flatly. "Humans weren't in space more than a century ago." Marcus shook his head, confusion evident. "The history books say we weren't, but..." He gestured at the massive ship. "The evidence suggests otherwise." Zara made her decision. "Prepare a boarding party. I want to know what we're dealing with." 6 hours later, Zara led a team of 7 specialists through the airlock connecting their ship to the ancient vessel. The boarding party included Marcus, Krill, Darrow, 2 security officers, and Dr. Ilara, their xenoarchaeologist. The interior was dark, illuminated only by their suit lights. The corridors were massive, designed for high-volume traffic. Everything was coated in a fine layer of dust, undisturbed for what must have been millennia. "The architecture is definitely human-influenced," Dr. Ilara noted, scanning the surroundings, "but far more advanced than anything in current human engineering catalogs." They made their way deeper into the ship, following what appeared to be a main corridor toward the central command deck. Gravity still functioned, suggesting some systems remained operational despite the vessel's age. "Look at these," Marcus said, stopping before a series of murals that lined one section of the corridor. They depicted humans in what appeared to be military uniforms, standing alongside various alien species. In some images, they were engaged in battle against shadowy, insectoid creatures. "The Terran Federation," Dr. Ilara read from an inscription. "Guardians of the Orion Arm, 2572 to 3089. "That's over 7,000 years ago," Krill whispered, his voice filled with awe. "Our entire recorded history is a lie," Marcus said quietly. "We weren't confined to Earth until the 22nd century. We had an interstellar empire." Zara raised a hand for silence as they approached what appeared to be the bridge. The massive doors were sealed shut, but a small access panel glowed with a faint blue light. "It still has power," Darrow observed. Marcus approached the panel, which displayed a simple prompt in ancient human script, identify. Without consulting the others, Marcus placed his hand on the panel. Marcus Chen, human, Earth. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the panel glowed brighter, and a deep scan ran over Marcus's body. The doors shuddered, then slowly began to part with a groan of ancient mechanisms. "Why did you do that?" Zara hissed. "It was asking for identification," Marcus replied. "I gave it what it wanted." The bridge was immense, designed to accommodate dozens of crew members. At its center stood a raised platform with what appeared to be a command chair. Everything was covered in dust except for a single holographic projector that flickered to life as they entered. A figure materialized above the projector. A woman in a sharp military uniform, her expression stern but not unfriendly. Identity confirmed. Human biological signature detected. "Welcome aboard the UNSC Invictus. I am aficionado, Artificial Tactical Holographic Enhanced Neural Advisor. Current status: dormant mode. Last system check: 4,211 years ago. Please state the nature of your presence." Zara stepped forward cautiously. "I am Commander Zara Tivik of the Galactic Coalition vessel Horizon. We discovered your ship and came to investigate." Athena's holographic face showed no emotion, but her eyes seemed to focus more sharply on each member of the boarding party. "Galactic Coalition. Entity unknown. Please clarify. Is Earth under threat? What is the status of the Terran Federation?" Marcus moved to stand beside Zara. "Earth is safe, but the Terran Federation doesn't exist anymore. According to our history, humans only achieved spaceflight a few centuries ago. We have no records of a federation." Athena processed this information, her hologram flickering slightly. "Diagnostic suggests no memory corruption. Historical archives intact. The Terran Federation was established in 2572 following first contact with the Arcturian Collective. At its height, it spanned 213 star systems and included alliances with 7 non-human species." "Then why don't we remember any of this?" Marcus asked. "Accessing historical terminus protocols," Athena responded. "In 3089, following the Hive War, the Federation Council enacted the Great Reset. Earth was isolated, technological development restricted, and historical records altered. The decision was made to protect humanity from itself and from further conflicts with hostile entities." Dr. Ilara stepped forward. "You're saying humans deliberately erased their own history. Why would they abandon such advancement?" "The Hive War destroyed 107 colonized worlds and resulted in 9 billion casualties," Athena stated simply. "The Federation used weapons of mass destruction that violated multiple ethical protocols. The Council determined that humanity needed to evolve differently, to learn cooperation before rediscovering its capacity for destruction. The implications were staggering. Humans have been a major galactic power millennia before joining the Coalition as junior members. They had fought wars, formed alliances, and then deliberately erased it all to start over." "And this ship?" Zara asked. "What was its purpose?" "The Invictus was the flagship of the 8th Fleet, designed to counter the Hive threat. I was instructed to remain dormant until contacted by authorized human personnel. My primary directive is to preserve Federation knowledge and provide defensive capabilities if humanity faces extinction-level threats." Before anyone could respond, Darrow's communicator chimed. "Commander, we're receiving an urgent message from Coalition Command. They're demanding a full report on our findings, and they're sending a containment fleet to secure this vessel." Zara frowned. "Containment? Why would they?" "Because they fear what this represents," Marcus interrupted, his expression hardening. "A human supercarrier with technology thousands of years beyond our current capabilities. The Coalition has always treated humans as junior partners. But this," he gestured around them, "this changes everything." Multiple vessels approaching, Athena announced suddenly. "Weapons systems detected." "They can't be here already," Zora protested. Not coalition vessels, HFY clarified. Unknown configuration. Matching against archived threats. Alert. 87% probability of Hive scout vessels. The holographic display shifted to show 5 sleek, organic-looking ships approaching their position. The Hive. Dr. Ilara whispered. The enemy your Federation fought is still out there. The Hive is a collective intelligence that consumes all biomass in its path, HFY explained. The Federation believed they had been pushed back to the galactic rim. It appears they have returned. As if on cue, the entire ship shuddered as something impacted the hull. They're attempting to breach the outer defenses, HFY reported. Defensive systems are offline. Without reactivation protocols, this vessel cannot defend itself. Zara looked at Marcus, seeing the weight of decision in his eyes. The Coalition feared what this ship represented, but without it, they might face a threat they couldn't comprehend. What do we need to do to reactivate the ship? Marcus asked. Full reactivation requires command authorization from a human with genetic markers matching Federation military personnel, HFY replied. And what are the chances I have those markers? HFY's hologram smiled for the first time. DNA analysis already complete. Lieutenant Marcus Chen. You are a direct descendant of Admiral James Chen, the last commanding officer of this vessel. Authorization recognized. The bridge suddenly hummed to life around them. Systems activating after millennia of dormancy. Lights flickered on, and holographic displays materialized at various stations. Welcome aboard, Acting Captain, HFY said. The UNSC Invictus awaits your command. Marcus turned to Zara, his expression a mixture of determination and disbelief. Commander, I think our mission just changed. Zara nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of their situation. I need to contact Coalition Command. They need to know what we're facing. As she moved toward the communication station, Dr. Ilara studied the tactical displays showing the approaching Hive vessels. If these creatures are as dangerous as HFY suggests, the entire coalition could be at risk, she said quietly, and this ship might be our only hope of stopping them. The ancient Supercarrier continued to awaken around them, systems coming online one by one. Whatever humanity had once been, whatever they had done that led them to erase their own history, they were about to face it again. And this time, the fate of the entire Galactic Coalition hung in the balance. The awakening. The Invictus shuddered as another Hive projectile struck its still inactive shields. On the bridge, chaos reigned as Coalition officers tried to understand the ancient systems springing to life around them. Main power at 63% and rising, HFY reported. Weapons systems initializing. Estimated time to combat readiness, 12 minutes. We don't have 12 minutes, Zara said, pointing to the tactical display. The 5 Hive ships had deployed smaller craft that were swarming toward the Invictus like angry insects. Meanwhile, their own vessel, the Horizon, looked painfully vulnerable alongside the massive Supercarrier. Athena, what defenses can you bring online immediately? Marcus asked, settling into the captain's chair that had adjusted to his physiology the moment he approached it. Point defense systems are operational. I can deploy countermeasures against the smaller craft. Do it, Marcus ordered. The ship hummed with new energy as hundreds of small turrets emerged from the hull. They tracked the incoming attackers with perfect precision, firing pulses of energy that vaporized the Hive craft on contact. Commander Tevik, a voice crackled over the communication system. This is Admiral Loxer of the Coalition Defense Force. Explain your situation immediately. Zara moved to the communication station. Admiral, we've discovered an ancient human military vessel. But that's not our primary concern right now. We're under attack by an unknown hostile force, something called the Hive. Human vessel. The Admiral's voice sharpened. You are ordered to abandon that ship immediately. We're sending a containment fleet to secure it. Marcus exchanged glances with Zora. The coalition's priority was controlling the supercarrier, not addressing the hive threat. With respect, Admiral, Zara replied, the containment fleet will be walking into an active combat zone. These hostiles are like nothing we've encountered before. On the tactical display, one of the larger hive ships broke formation and accelerated toward the horizon. They're targeting your ship, Athena announced. Get our people out of there, Marcus ordered. Athena, can we extend shields to protect the horizon? Negative. Shields are still offline. However, I can deploy drones to intercept. Do it. From launch bays along the Invictus's hull, dozens of sleek, autonomous combat drones shot into space. They formed a protective barrier between the horizon and the approaching hive vessel. Horizon, you need to dock with us immediately, Marcus called over the comm. You can't withstand their weapons. The small survey vessel's engines flared as it maneuvered toward one of the Invictus's massive hangar bays. The drones engaged the hive ship, their advanced weaponry carving into its organic hull, but they were quickly overwhelmed by the enemy's numbers. Shields online in 3 minutes, Athena reported. Main weapons charging. Marcus turned to Krill. What can you tell me about these hive ships? Any weaknesses? The Navaran science officer was already analyzing the sensor data. Their hulls appear to be semi-organic, regenerating damage almost immediately. Energy readings suggest they're powered by some form of biological reactor. If we could disrupt that, Athena, do the archives have tactical information on hive vulnerabilities? Marcus asked. Affirmative. Hive vessels are susceptible to concentrated electromagnetic pulses targeting their central neural clusters. The Invictus is equipped with EMP torpedoes designed specifically for this purpose. Dr. Ilara, who had been studying the historical archives, looked up sharply. If these are the same hive that the Federation fought, they adapt quickly. We may only get one chance to use that weapon before they develop a countermeasure. The bridge doors slid open as the rest of the Horizon's crew arrived, eyes wide as they took in the enormous command center. Status of the Horizon, Zara asked. Docked and secure, her first officer reported. But we have a new problem. Coalition Defense has dispatched 10 warships to our location. Their orders are to secure this vessel by any means necessary. Marcus clenched his jaw. They're more worried about humans having this ship than the hive threat. Can you blame them? Darrow asked bluntly. A single human supercarrier that could outgun the entire coalition fleet. History is full of examples of what happens when one species has too much power. We don't have time for this debate, Zara interrupted. The hive is the immediate threat. Athena, how many EMP torpedoes would it take to neutralize all 5 hive ships? 3 torpedoes should be sufficient if detonated at these coordinates, Athena replied, highlighting points on the tactical display. However, optimal targeting requires closing to within 5,000 kilometers. Marcus nodded. Take us in, and prepare a data package on the hive for transmission to the coalition fleet. They need to understand what they're walking into. The massive engines of the Invictus roared to life, propelling the supercarrier toward the hive formation with surprising agility for its size. As they closed distance, the enemy ships adjusted their tactics, spreading out to surround the human vessel. They recognized this ship, Athena observed. Tactical analysis suggests they're employing countermeasures developed during the Hive War. Then we need to show them something new, Marcus said. Athena, what other weapons do we have that might surprise them? The Invictus carries a prototype phase shift drive that can temporarily displace the ship into subspace. It was experimental technology, never deployed in combat. Risk assessment, Zara asked. 27% chance of drive failure, resulting in catastrophic structural collapse. Marcus and Zara shared a look. Better odds than letting the hive surround us, he decided. Prepare the phase shift drive and the EMP torpedoes. We'll shift behind their formation, deploy the torpedoes, and shift back before they can react. As the crew prepared for the maneuver, Marcus opened a channel to the approaching Coalition fleet. Coalition vessels. This is Acting Captain Marcus Chen aboard the UNSC Invictus. We are engaging a hostile force known as the Hive. These entities have destroyed hundreds of worlds in the past. We're transmitting all tactical data now. Request your assistance in containment operations. There was a long pause before Admiral Loxer responded. Captain Chen, you have no authority to command that vessel. Stand down and prepare to be boarded. Darrow looked at Marcus. They're not listening. They will when they see the Hive in action, Marcus replied grimly. Athena, initiate phase shift. The enormous ship shimmered as the experimental drive engaged. For a moment, the bridge crew felt a sickening sensation as reality seemed to bend around them. Then they were behind the Hive formation, the enemy ships suddenly exposed and vulnerable. EMP torpedoes away, Athena announced. 3 sleek projectiles shot from the Invictus, each heading toward a calculated detonation point. The Hive ships began to turn, but too slowly. The torpedoes detonated in brilliant blue flashes that seemed to ripple through subspace itself. The effect on the Hive ships was immediate and devastating. Their organic systems overloaded, bioluminescent features flickering and dying. 4 of the 5 ships went completely dark, drifting helplessly in space. But the 5th, larger than the others, had been just outside the EMP's effective radius. It turned towards the Invictus, its hull glowing with building energy. Incoming fire, Athena warned. A massive energy beam lanced from the Hive vessel, striking the Invictus's shields. The ancient barriers held, but the entire ship groaned under the assault. Shield integrity at 70%, HFY reported. The Hive vessel is preparing for another attack. Main weapons status, Marcus demanded. Primary particle cannon charged and ready. Target their central mass and fire. A massive weapon emplacement on the Invictus's prow glowed with blinding intensity, then discharged a concentrated beam of particles accelerated to near light speed. The beam cut through space and slammed into the Hive ship, carving a clean path through its core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the enemy vessel began to break apart, secondary explosions rippling along its length as its biological components reacted to the catastrophic damage. Target neutralized, HFY confirmed. The bridge crew watched in stunned silence as the remnants of the Hive ship drifted apart. None of them had ever witnessed firepower of this magnitude. A single shot that could destroy a capital ship. Their victory was short-lived. The tactical display updated to show the Coalition fleet dropping out of FTL travel nearby, weapon systems active and targeting the Invictus. They still see us as the threat, Zora observed quietly. Marcus stood from the captain's chair. Open a channel to the flagship. Admiral Loxer's stern face appeared on the main screen. Behind him, Coalition officers stared in a mixture of awe and fear at what they could see of the Invictus's bridge. Admiral, Marcus began, as you can see, we've neutralized the immediate Hive threat. But those were just scout ships. According to the historical records aboard this vessel, the Hive consumed entire civilizations before they were pushed back by the Terran Federation thousands of years ago. And now you control a weapon that could do the same, Loxer replied coldly. You expect us to simply trust humans with that power. I expect you to recognize the real threat, Marcus countered. The Invictus's sensors are detecting Hive activity in 3 other systems along the Coalition border. Their main force is coming, Admiral. We can fight among ourselves, or we can prepare. Dr. Ilara stepped forward. Admiral, I've analyzed the historical records. The Hive operate like a pandemic. They spread exponentially, converting organic matter into more of themselves. If they've returned, every species in the galaxy is at risk. Loxer's expression remained impassive, but his eyes betrayed uncertainty. And what do you propose, Captain Chen? That we hand control of the most powerful warship in known space to humans who, until today, we thought had no spacefaring history. "I propose a joint command," Marcus replied. "The Invictus requires human DNA for full operation, but I welcome Coalition officers aboard. This ship was built to defend all sentient life against the Hive. Let it fulfill that purpose." After a long moment, Loxer nodded reluctantly. "I'll consult with Coalition Command. In the meantime, maintain your position and take no further action with that vessel." As the communication ended, Zara turned to Marcus. "That was diplomatically handled, but they'll never agree to joint command. They'll find a way to neutralize you and take the ship." "Perhaps," Marcus agreed. "But ATGENA has been transmitting data on the Hive to every Coalition world since we engaged. The threat is real, and now they know it." Athena's hologram appeared beside them. "Captain, I've completed the analysis of the residual energy signatures from the Hive ships. They originated from the Helios cluster, approximately 20 light-years from our position." "They're staging ground," Marcus murmured. "How many ships?" "Conservative estimate based on energy output. 200 capital ships and associated support craft." The number hung in the air like a death sentence. The entire Coalition fleet numbered less than 100 vessels, none remotely as powerful as even one Hive ship. "We need to prepare," Marcus said finally. "Athena, begin reactivation of all Invictus systems. Combat protocols, drone production, everything." "What about the Coalition?" Krill asked. Marcus looked out at the Coalition ships surrounding them, then at the disabled Hive vessels drifting nearby, harbingers of a storm no one was prepared for. "They'll come around," he said softly. "They have to. Because what's coming isn't just a threat to humans or any single species. It's a threat to all life in the galaxy." Zara nodded, understanding in her eyes. "And when they do come around..." Marcus turned to face the enormous tactical display, showing the galaxy and the approaching Hive signatures like a cancer spreading through the stars. "Then the real war begins." As if in response, the Invictus hummed with power, ancient systems awakening fully for the first time in millennia. The ship that had once been humanity's greatest defender stood ready once more. A forgotten sentinel returned when needed most. Beyond the viewports, stars gleamed against the darkness of space. Somewhere out there, the Hive was coming. And this time, humanity would not face them alone.